Hi guys, I'm Amanda the Botanical Brunette and welcome to my channel. Raise your hand in the comments if you have been personally victimized by a Calathea. Hello. Today we're going to be talking about Calatheas, kind of my struggles, and I'll kind of go over the 3 Calatheas that I have in my collection and probably my stance on Calatheas. Before we get into that, before I show you all of my collection, please like and subscribe and share this video. It will help me out a lot with the YouTube algorithm just to kind of grow my channel. I've been having a lot of fun doing these videos for you guys, and I absolutely want to keep going and keep doing this, so your support means a ton to me, so thank you all for who has already supported me, and let's get into it. So, Calatheas. They are the diva of the plant world. If you are a first-time plant parent, please leave this video and go see my plant house for beginners, because a Calathea is not a houseplant you want to start with. Even really experienced houseplant parents have failed at holding a Calathea. Now again, if you fail at a plant, it is okay. You just move on, you go buy another one. You use any failure as a learning experience. And that's what I've done with a couple of my Calatheas. So I have 3 Calatheas that I'm going to show you today, and I'm gonna go over my newest and also my least troublesome to my absolute diva. And I'm sure if you follow me on Instagram and you see my stories, you know exactly who I'm talking about, and I'll get to that in a second. My first Calathea, what Calathea is this? I forgot the name of it. So the first Calathea that I'm going to talk about today, which is my newest and my least dramatic Calathea, is my Calathea Ornata. This Calathea is so good. Like, I've had other like medallion plants, like Calatheas. I had a peacock medallion, I believe it was, and that one died a tragic death, like most Calatheas will. The Ornata is very easy. I mean, like, it does have a little bit of crispy leaves. It's not on the prime shelf that has the humidifier on it, but it does sit on a pebble tray, and it's just doing great. Honestly, like, I have like a couple new leaves kind of popping out, so it's super happy right now. It is around 4 o'clock while I'm filming this, so it is starting to pray, so it's starting to pop up. And yeah, it's such a good plant. Honestly, like, we went to a plant nursery, and my husband was like, I went over and I was like, oh my God, I've never seen one of these like in person. And my husband's like, you should just get it. I was like, okay, don't have to twist my arm there. But I should have known better because it's a Calathea, but luckily that has worked out in my favor. A lot of them don't always, but that one is super easy. It's beautiful. I wanted to show you the leaves on this. So it's got like a lush dark green leaf with super cute pink stripes. And I'm a sucker for trailing plants and striped plants. And this one just called out to me, and I'm like, yes, I love it. So cute. It brings me back to my Avril Lavigne days. And then, so yeah, so this plant is super easy to take care of. I water it with distilled water. All my Calatheas are watered with distilled water. I have heard that it's not 100% great to water them, but my Calatheas have not survived on just filtered water. Once I switched to distilled water, it helped them out tremendously. Calatheas are notorious for humidity loving. It also depends too on where the Calathea was technically raised. If a Calathea is raised in like a super humidity, like humid area, like a farm or anything like that, it might need more humidity. I don't know if that's the case with my most dramatic plant or what, but I found that if the plant has adapted to a certain environment, when you bring it home, you have to mimic that environment. So my Ornata probably didn't deal with a lot of humidity in its, growing up stages, but now it gets minimal humidity. It has that pebble tray, and it is like the next shelf down from humidity shelf, so it's good there. My next Calathea that is mildly a nuisance is going to be my Vittata. Calathea Batata. Such a fun word to say, oh my god. It's my little Kuna Matata Vittata. I told you I'm dorky. So basically this plant has been super easy, very cute, very lush. Again, another very stripy plant. It is dripping all over me because it does sit, it is in a candle jar, and it does sit on top of water in its own little humidity tray. So it's got a little bit of like water buildup that I need to wash off, but it's a super easy plant. It's pretty easy. The only thing that I would say is it is starting to get these little like yellow tips, which turn brown over time. That drives me bananas, so I cut it. That's just, honestly, it doesn't really hurt the plant as long as you have like really sharp scissors, but it's just aesthetics. I don't really love the look of that, but I left them on for you guys because one, they're not getting any better, and two, I wanted to show you guys what that looks like. And again, it's praying, so it's like standing straight up and having a good time. You can also tell which side the sun is on. It's kind of back toward that, and it sits kind of like behind the, or in front of the wall. My Calathea Batata, super cute, super easy. Again, distilled water. It sits, well, all my plants, side note, all my plants sit in the shelf behind me that grow light, so it doesn't really have a lot of light, like natural light, so they do well, or do okay, I should say. They do okay with grow lights. Water it, I would say any Calathea that you get, water them. I would check them once a week. Again, keep that routine going. Checking them once a week is great, and water them when, you know, if you have a moisture meter, I would water it around when it gets to like a 5 or a 6, just a little water. And then if not, I would just water when the soil is mostly dry. Don't let them dry out because they hate that. They're very tropical plants, so they're gonna yell at you. My next plant. If you have followed my Instagram stories and you have seen this boy, girl, you know my struggle. And that is my Calathea White Fusion. Here she is. Mariah Carey is what I named her because she is a diva. Diva. Right here is a picture of her when I got her. And this is what she is now. Do you know why? Because she wound up being one leaf. I had her out sitting on a shelf right next to a humidifier, and that wasn't good enough for her. So she's kind of miniature and honestly kind of cute, like small like this, but I have her in this fishbowl that I kind of just like put over her. She just sits there with her little space helmet on, and she is thriving, full on thriving. The humidity in that thing, I put my hygrometer in the glass bowl with the Calathea just to see like what the humidity was like in there, and it got up to like 85. She's very dramatic, and she will test you. You will want to give up on all your plants and just tend to her. But the thing is once I stopped, now I'm going to, one second, let me put her back in the thing because she's gonna just decline if I don't put her back in the space thing. Okay, she happy. She was one of my first variegated type plants. I don't know if she's actually variegated or that's just how they come. Is there a green version? I don't know. Anyway, so she was one of my first like white, very pretty, like sought after plants. And I was like, I gotta get her. I got her, I brought her home. No one told me what I was up against. She was on the shelf for a few months, and every day we'd have a crispy brown leaf. So then I Googled it and I said, okay, well, she needs different water. So I got her distilled water, wasn't enough. Then I put her right next to a humidifier, wasn't enough. I put her on a pebble tray. I put her on a pebble tray right next to a humidifier. Wasn't enough. Until she was down to one mildly crispy leaf. And I'm like, she's gonna die. I don't know what to do. And yeah, I hate when that happens, but I mean, it does happen. So you just kind of have to deal with it. So I was like, you know what? I was hovering over this plant, left and right, helicopter mom on this plant. And I'm just like, he's not growing. I don't know what. So I decided, oh, I have a fishbowl. Let me take that fishbowl and put it over the plant. Because it's big enough that at the time it had bigger leaves. So it was able to not touch the sides. And it wound up being okay in there. And I just was like, you know what, forget it. I put the bowl over it and I walked away. Because I'm like, I don't know what to do. This plant and I are just not agreeing. So that's just it. And then all of a sudden, it just started growing new growth. It just started out of nowhere, just becoming another plant. And I'm just like, wow, like... So sometimes plants actually don't want to be hovered and don't want all that attention. So Mariah, she sits on my shelf. She's happy. I have accidentally pushed the bowl so far back that it was like this much over the edge of the shelf back here. And she wound up browning all the leaves over again. It drove me crazy. I'm like, are you kidding me? So this is the third time she's grown out. So hopefully, you know, we have come to terms and we have figured out a method. Doesn't need to be watered really almost ever. She's in that dome. So, I mean, I water her maybe once every 4 to 6 months. I still check on her, probably not every week, but I check on her every once in a while. Just kind of peek in and you'll kind of see when the soil starts to get a little dry. And that's when you tend to her. But honestly, now that I've learned what I need to do and that I know kind of how she wants to be, she's become probably the easiest plant I have. Just because I don't need to water her, I don't really need to fertilize. I mean, I probably should fertilize her a little bit more, but I don't really water her. And she just sits in that bowl and just as happy as can be. With all the experience that I have dealt with growing Calatheas and having them in my collection, I'm probably not going to get another one. There are a couple more, like 2 more Calatheas that I've been eyeing. And I might try those because I've been doing so good with the Ornata, but I probably won't. Because honestly, like, there's such a struggle, and my whole thing is like, I love plants because I have really bad anxiety, and Calatheas just bring that anxiety out in me. And I like easy plants. I like plants that are going to be, you know, happy with a little bit of water and a little bit of sunshine and a little bit of love. But I don't need a plant that's gonna be help me every 5 minutes. So that's pretty much it. Those are my Calatheas. That's my Calathea collection that I have. Again, I might buy a couple more, but if you have any questions or if you are kind of thinking about a Calathea, put that in the comment. Let me know what you're looking at and what you kind of want to get. I do have a blog on this that I will link below. It is all about Calathea and Calathea care and kind of my tips and tricks on what I've dealt with the Calathea. So check that out below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great day and